Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Welcome to the online platform Civil Technobricks. Guys, here we will tune for the instantaneous decoding of conceptual knowledge in the field of civil engineering where study elaborates decoding the earth to build a better world. Guys, today we will see the important question answers related to the engineering geology, which is most likely questions related to the exam point of view. That questions are based on the rock mechanics, soil mechanics and its relevance with reference to the engineering geology. Here, the question related to the topic of resistivity, where they explain the resistivity method used in geological exploration, discuss its significance and limitations, just like for 6 marks. Guys, pay attention to understand the resistivity method first. The resistivity method is geoelectrical technique where geology and electrical conditions compare together, in which electric current is introduced into the ground through the electrodes. Electric currents are introduced in the ground through the electrodes, and the resulting potential difference is measured to determine the subsurface resistivity variations. So field arrangement, like here A and B, two locations. With reference to two locations, we are introducing the electric current. So current flow lines are here and equipotential lines are dotted. So large dotted lines are equipotential lines and dashed lines are the current flow lines are explained. So what is the principle behind that resistivity method, which is most important? So your answer for that question, which must have to explain first definition, then principle, then working procedure along with diagram. So the principle, which is the different rocks and soils have different resistivity, means the resistivity depends on type of soil, type of rock and its characteristics or orientation depending on their index properties. So what is the working or procedure for that resistivity method? 5 stages are there. Electrodes are planted in a straight line, A and B likewise. Current is injected through the outer electrodes A and B. With reference to that, we are inducing the current here. Then potential difference measured between inner electrodes, that is M and N. These are two inner electrodes. A and B are outer electrodes. So A and B are utilizing for giving the current, where M and N are utilizing for measuring the potential difference, that is V. So after that, we have to calculate the apparent resistivity, and then by changing electrode spacing or distance in between them, then some surface resistivity section is interpreted or changed. Likewise, the apparent resistivity formula is here, K into V by I, where K is a geometric factor or depends on the electronic configuration. Then I will be the current in ampere and V will be the potential difference in volt. The typical resistivity, which will be seen likewise with reference to some graphical representation point of view. Here the scale is there, low resistivity, that's a dark blue color, and high resistivity, which is a reddish color. Likewise explain with reference to that contours in the digital surface model. Likewise depth on the y-axis and the explanation of resistivity on the x-axis. Our question related to that discuss its significance and limitations point of view. So here two parts, significance and limitations. Significance are nothing but the applications or the usage also, we can say that, and limitations are, we can say that, the disadvantages or some obstacles. Likewise we have to study or write in your exam or answer point of view. So what are the applications of that resistivity method? Groundwater exploration point of view, we can use mineral and ore exploration, cavity fracture fault, site investigation, environmental studies. Basically we can use it on wide range for surface activity or basically for subsurface geological explorations, where we have to study or capture the data related to the orientation of rocks, orientation of soil and its properties. So here the resistivity method is powerful tool to map subsurface variations in a quick, economical and non-invasive manner. Now pay attention here. The next question related to the application point of view or the case study point of view. Here we see that the question present a case study where the watershed management in Maharashtra and discuss its lesson learn. Likewise, we have to study the activity with reference to the watershed management in Maharashtra point of view. So case study of, for example, Hiware Bazar village, Ahmednagar district, Maharashtra state. What is the actual case study? That is Hiware Bazar, a drought-prone village in Ahmednagar district, which transformed into a model of sustainable development through community-led watershed management since 1990s under the guidance of Padma Shri award winner Popatra Pawar. So what are the key features for that village? The rainfall, area treated or area covered, then approach, that is reach to valley treatment, water conservation structures, afforestation or tree plantation, and demand management. Likewise, community participation for that activity, and then management, that is Gram Sabha, lead planning, implementation, and strict flow. Basically, that question is framed on the basis of watershed delineation point of view, where we have to study the rainfall data for that village, and we have to store each and every drop of water, and we have to assign it for the percolation point of view so that the groundwater recharge will be there. Likewise, we have to study the concept and we have to write the answer likewise. So what is the approach or process followed? That is first participatory planning from the Gram Sabha discussions, then reach to valley treatment where continuous control trenches are excavated, then water conservation and recharge where infiltration and that water is allowed for infiltration point of view, and runoff water must have to be get obstacle with reference to some trenches so that the whole runoff water will get stored in small basins. Then afforestation or tree plantation point of view activity and land use management we have to follow. After that, demand side, that is type of water demand for agricultural demand, for residential demand, or for any other purposes, and then rules and regulations for utilization of that recharge water with respect to the groundwater. So outcomes or the impact for that case study: rise in groundwater level, increase in cropping intensity, reduce migration of the people from that village to city area. After that, increasing in irrigation point of view also, increase in income per capita, then environmental benefits. Means we have achieved the sustainable approach as the outcome with reference to that case study of that watershed management process. Where before point of view and after point of view, if we draw the comparison or plot the comparison of that Hiware Bazar village, the parameters are groundwater level, irrigated area, cropping intensity, per capita income, and migration point of view that are related to that outcomes. Where before 1990s, this is the actual scenario, but after that we have that positive points, that is migration negligible, per capita income is high, that is several times it at the highest position, then cropping intensity which is greater than 200%, that are means in that period the persons who are taking the cropping season one maximum, but here they are utilizing the land for 2 or 3 cropping seasons. Likewise, then irrigated area, see the difference of irrigated area with reference to that watershed delineation management concept. Then groundwater level which will be increased 5 to 10 meter below to the ground level, where 20 to 30 meter below to the ground level. Likewise, so we study the community ownership from that lesson or from that case study, then integrated approach of the work, then water budgeting concept, strong institution and bylaws which are most important for implementation and livelihood point of view, and then replicability with context, that is watershed management can be replicated in other regions with local adaptation and the willpower from the villages. So the marking scheme for that type of question, which is a application oriented question, just like this. So 6 marks are divided with reference to that outcomes, approach, case study, and lessons learned. So your answer must have to follow this type with reference to the Maharashtra region point of view. Here we see the case study for the Indian terrain, the present a case study for the higher process of watershed management in India, and discuss the lessons learned. Based on that Hiware Bazar point of view, we see the in India the case study of Sujala Watershed project, Alwar district in Rajasthan. Okay, so here the Sujala project implemented by TARU leading edge in partnership with the government of Rajasthan and local communities since 2005. That landmark which is an example of watershed management in India, it has transformed an as arid degraded landscape into a water secure and prosperous region. Here the approach or the process followed, same thing, participatory planning, treatment measures, water recharge, sustainable livelihoods, and monitoring and maintenance point of view. So process is same, but the locations are different with reference to Indian terrain, with reference to Maharashtra state terrain. The outcomes for that or the impact of that is noted on the basis of groundwater level 2 to 5 meter in many areas, irrigated area increase from 1000 hectare to the 10,000 hectare, crop productivity increased by 2 to 3 times in 1 year, then farm incomes or per capita income by 50% to 200% increases, then drinking water availability which improved and outer migration is reduced. Likewise, Hiware Bazar, over 100 villages and to 1.5 lakh people benefited with reference to that project, where before and after comparison is here, where each and everything maximally integrated, but the migration is also degraded. That is also one of the output. So each and everything based on that indicator point of view, we have to write and we have to suggest. So this is the actual application or case study which is learn the concept of watershed delineation or sustainable approach, and we have to write the answers accordingly. So lessons learned, community ownership, integrated approach, local institutions and their participation, economic benefits, and then site specific planning, which is most important and essential thing. The marking scheme point of view, we have to divide that with reference to 6 marks. So the Sujala demonstrates that community driven science based watershed management that can convert degraded lands into productive assets and which ensures long term water security. So these type of questions are the application oriented questions based on some sustainability approach, where we have to understand the basic concepts and we have to utilize that concept with reference to the practical examples on the current scenario. Stay tuned guys, happy learning.